Welcome to this very festive edition of the VHS Vault. And of course, I'm VHS Jase. And next to me is the great man himself, Jason Roy Gaston. How are you, sir?
I am very, very merry today.
So I'm luckily you haven't poked your eye out. You haven't put your eye
Not
out
yet.
today, so that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
The
So
night is young, though.
now, if you're rewatching and you've been following the show, you may known there was an expose done on the fact that I had never seen tonight's movie in all my years, which came as a great shock to my co-host, who could not believe that I had not seen A Christmas Story. How does it
I
happen, Jace?
I don't know. How does that happen, Jace?
Easily.
It's
I have asked a
offensive.
lot of people since then that are in Australia, and it is a very unknown or non-celebrated movie here. It wasn't at any point in my childhood, in my early adulthood, and now to my middle age. Is it something that got played on TV or people used to speak about? It seems something that I think is very centered around America, which in my research found out that you guys love this movie.
Oh, yes, we do. There is I don't know if they do it now, but for a while there was this television station called TBS that would literally run the movie on a loop 24 hours during Christmas time. It's so ingrained in our culture. And I have made the trip to Christmas Story Mecca. I have visited the Christmas Story house.
It is a dreary day here in Cleveland. It is raining, but thankfully there is just a little bit of Christmas cheer right around the corner, because on this street you will find the Christmas Story house. Unfortunately, I did not arrive in time to take a tour of this beloved home, but just being there and looking at the place put a smile on my face. And what better way to celebrate the spirit of Christmas than good old-fashioned American capitalism? But I'm not complaining. As a matter of fact, I was eager to jump in with both feet, or both legs in this case. Yes, you can get everything from bunny suits to leg lamps to t-shirts to anything your heart desires. Except maybe the acceptance of your parents. Truly, if you are a fan of this movie, this place is your nirvana. I may have missed the tour, but maybe that's for the best. The place can live inside my head and inside my heart.
Which
Wow.
looks just like it did in the movie, except the trees are gone. And and of course, there's a sign that says the Christmas Story House. And there's a gift shop across the street where you can buy leg lamps and bunny pajamas and Christmas ornaments. And it's a magical place. It's just dripping in consumerism, and I love it. You can actually stay there. You can rent the place out, and you can stay there. And you can celebrate Christmas inside the Christmas Story house any day of the year you want to.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I kind of let out the bag how I've just recently seen this in like the last 24 hours. Tell me about your first introduction and how this movie has been part of your Christmas.
Well, it seems like I was born having already seen this movie. It's just been a thing for as long as I can remember. It was released in 1983 whenever I was 6 years old, but it just seems like it's been on television every year for as long as I can remember. I don't think I watched the movie in order for a very long time. I would just catch little bits and pieces of it, and finally I watched it from beginning to end one day, and I just love this movie. There's something in this movie that I think speaks to everybody.
There you go. Well, yes, Christmas Story, 1983, directed by Bob Clark, based on a novel called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, by Jean Shepherd, who not only wrote the screenplay based on his book, but apparently did the voiceover, the narration of this film.
Yes, he did. It's
Highly
kind of
unusual.
And I think he does an amazing job of it too. His voiceover is iconic, and he's got such a wonderful voice.
It is. Look, come out in November 18, 1983, right? A budget of $3.3 million. But it was successful for its time because it made almost 20.
Yes. And who
And
knows
this
how much
is-
it's made since.
And I was going to say, okay, I've got to ask this question. Is it known in the zeitgeist of the US that this became an instant classic? Like,
Ah,
was it something
to-
that built over time?
To me, it has been, but like I said, I just remember it always being there, even though I was 6 whenever it released. I don't know if it was an instant classic. I don't know if it built, but for me, yeah, it's been a part of Christmas for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, all I can we can talk about now is what I experienced and your memories of it. I gotta say, I was expecting, based on the imagery that I had seen, and that for this to be a very low budget, small movie. In some ways, it is. However, it's not. This movie's larger in scale than I was first expecting, and it comes right off the bat in the opening in a gorgeous scene of a whole town set in the mid 1940s, Jason.
Yes.
You've got
It
is
was
a
all
massive-
practical too. All practical. All those cars are there. That was
the shop fronts, the cars, the parks, the hundreds of people walking around in costume. Like, and this is just really the establishing shot of the city.
yes.
And and it kind of threw me back a bit, and I'm going, but immediately, Jason, I'm thinking to myself, this is like the best version of Christmas I feel like in history. It's the 1940s, post-war. You know, Christmas is something that's really being cynicism isn't around. Everything's at a, morale is up, everything is up, and it just feels like a more magical time. So straight away, I'm in love with where we're at, the location. I thought it was, wow, what an opening. But we get introduced to Ralphie and his friends in the shop.
I love the kid whose nose is pushed up against the glass. It's one of those things you don't notice until you look and you're just like, oh my God, look at that.
We've seen plenty of films where the kid actors are okay, but they're trying. Man, wow, did they not hit the money pot? Well, hit the jackpot with the kids they got for this movie. Peter Billingsley is exceptional in this film. He has to go for a gambit of emotions, and he sells everything he does, that little kid. And his friends are all excellent too. I just like, and I think that's what makes or breaks it. And I think that's where I was hooked in immediately, because I was in with the kids. I immediately liked these kids. And identified with Ralphie's desire. I can't say exactly what it is. I'm sure it's here somewhere. I've probably got notes of exactly the full long name of the toy he wants. But who hasn't had that when you were that age, Jace? That need, that's something you always
BB
wanted.
gun. Yes, the Red Ryder BB gun.
Your version. Mine was Castle Grayskull.
Mine was the USS Flag, and we're now on the 38th anniversary of me not getting it.
Wow. Yeah, that brought down the show really, really tough. Oh, well. You know how expensive they'd be today now, too?
Yes, I do, because I've looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked.
Well, Ralphie, he wants this gun, man. It's this 200 shot range model air rifle is just like the one I used in my Range Wars chasing rustlers and bad guys.
He used a BB gun?
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of weird. I love this scene. I love this scene because as a kid, I did this. I would see an advertisement for like the Nintendo Entertainment System or something, and I'd rip the page out and I'd put it inside of my mom's magazines. Just like,
that part.
She's gonna see that, and I'm gonna get what I want.
I never did that, but I thought that was so clever that he does that. He rips your page out and puts it in her magazine, which was
magazine.
The fact that several times throughout this movie he daydreams, and I was definitely a daydreamer kid.
Oh yeah,
this
kid would be diagnosed with ADHD by now, and he'd be heavily medicated and sedated. But yeah, it's so much about his daydreams just spoke to me because I was the same way. I would daydream about things. If I got in trouble, I would daydream, my parents regretting what they did because it messed me up, or I would daydream about saving my family because somebody gave me a Star Wars blaster or something. Kids are dumb, but at the same time, you identify with it because the person who wrote this knows how kids think.
Exactly. And you mentioned it before. Hang on, excuse me.
Ew.
I'll cut that out.
Ew.
It's gross and hacky. I don't know why.
Wow.
Anyway.
Speaking of Christmas, that's red and green.
Yeah, that's red and green. Okay, I know where I'm going. So the kids are amazing. We've kind of established that. But the movie still, what are the adults like in this? And Jase, I love these parents. I love the parents so much. Too. So much. She reminds me of my mum so much, Jason. That's where I got hooked in it. And because that was what my mum was like. You know what I mean? She was a child of the 40s. She would have been around the same age as Ralphie. But the way she raised us was very much like her mum raised her. And I love the father character. I just love his desperate frustration, but he's really wholly and solely a good man. And I like that about this, We don't have an overt evil adult, which is wonderful.
No. I like that this story is told from a child's point of view. And so everything is a little exaggerated. And it fits. Everything fits. The exaggerated personalities of the adults, their exaggerated actions, the father's cartoon-like cursing,
which is not
the
cursing.
mother, which is not cursing. It is funny.
Oh.
Even some of the mom's actions. I just thought it's told from a kid's point of view. We have a biased narrator. It's a kid telling a story about Christmas, and so everything's going to be a little cartoony and fantastical.
And told from the part as a past tense, because it's Ralphie as an adult reflecting back on that time. But it's so wonderfully kind of done, and their performances are so good. And when Ralph kind of spits out like, "Ask, what are you going to get?" and it starts the one kind of chink in his armor with his strategy is you'll shoot your eye out. And it's something that just seems to be his kryptonite. But his strategy is smart. That's his first level of strategies, to put that bit of paper in his mum's magazine. And I love that, he's focused on a goal here. Again, daydreaming, and this scene here where he's actually
fantasizing about saving his family from Black Bart and his gang. Oh my goodness. Of course, Ralphie's going to come to the aid of his family, and he's going to save the day thanks to his trusty carbon action Red Ryder BB gun that he gets in his fantasy here.
And the cartoonish, when you're talking about cartoonish performances, how the adults play into it, wonderful actors. One of them, is it Darren McGavin?
Darren McGavin, yes. The great Darren McGavin.
I remember what I knew him from, what he was
Kojak.
most famous.
He was Kolchak the Night Stalker. Yeah.
Oh.
Among many other things. Brilliant actor. Yeah.
Brilliant actor.
And funny. He had humor we didn't know that he was capable of.
Very funny in this. He has a couple of real scene stealers in this, actually.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, it's a wonderful movie. I love the bit where they dress. His little brother has to get mum's dressing him up for school, and it's an old joke we've seen now, but I feel like it's probably been derivative and referencing this original joke. But I did love the kid being wrapped up and unable to follow his older brother. I thought it was very sweet and very, very. Look, it's large in scale. Small story, large in scale. Very surprised, Kind of makes you pine for the 80s too, because it's just like, I just don't think an original film like this would be made. And if it was, it'd get Hallmark Channel money, or it would be on streaming, and it wouldn't be given the reverence that I think this film's been given. Very But yeah, just wonderful stuff in this. Everything about it, as I'm seeing it. The classroom gag, Jason, of all the kids putting in there the fake teeth. And that's how we get introduced to them. It's wonderful, you know? And just the teacher putting out her hand. And you know what? When the whole interaction with that teacher, I felt like that was a teacher of mine when I was a kid. That same kind of stoic, there's a real stoic sense about her. She's a very proper kind of teacher. Man, just a lot of stuff in this film, for me, I found highly relatable, and I was shocked that was what's happening with a film that is really like a Norman Rockwell painting in many ways. It's Americana defined. Like, the best version of America, I'm going to be honest, from an outside perspective, is kind of captured in this film. You know, I think even you would probably agree, if you had a chance to live in that universe, you would want to live in that universe, right? It just feels like a great place to live.
I don't know if I want to live there, but I definitely want to visit.
Oh, look, man. Okay, take a different alley. I know you're afraid because Fargus might come and give you a wedgie or something, but you could just take a different street.
Fargus scares me.
We should get to him too, because
we should.
I'm jumping ahead here. I've got to. Where's the?
It don't matter. Everybody knows.
It don't matter. I'm just trying to find a picture of Fargus. As I do that though, like with the next picture I do have here, I was surprised how much time they spent at school in this film.
Yes,
in the classroom and out of the classroom. It's a big part
of a child's life, and it is being told.
Yes,
from the
it's your
point of
whole
view.
day. It's your whole day, right? And this gag, I love this gag. Okay, I've seen Dumb and Dumber and more outrageous one, but it's not just that moment that makes the scene. It's his friend's abandonment of him.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so honest, so truthful of what boys were like when you were young.
And it's not the only time it happens in the movie either. And I think that's hilarious.
It's not.
It's like, I gotta go, bye.
I gotta go. It's up to you, bye. And then the whole thing, as we see it unfold, becoming a way bigger thing. A way bigger thing that's becoming with the cops and everything else like that.
I will say that I did get my tongue stuck to a pole because of this movie.
Did you try it? Did you?
It wasn't a dare or anything. It was just, we were sitting there going, do you think that really happens? And, you know, one day it was cold enough and we were out on the playground and we're just like, uh-oh. It happens. But you know what?
Pour water. Yeah.
Push your tongue into the ice more and your body heat will melt it.
Ah, yeah, I'll breathe on it. Yeah. That's great advice, Jase.
Yeah.
That's great advice and wonderful, you know. But yes, but I also love the scene in the classroom where the teacher knows it's Ralphie and his mate have kind of abandoned him, right? She knows it, but his unwillingness. Ralphie isn't perfect in this film. This is why I love Ralphie so much, because he's a little boy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's a little boy. So I love the fact that he is looking out for his own interest. So he doesn't cough up that he kind of did it, which I love. And, you know, funny, probably a little bit unrealistic, but funny. He's got a bandage around his tongue. But it's this dude. It's this dude. Who is this guy?
This is Zach Ward. And he is still acting to this day. But most people will know him from a sitcom called Titus that appeared on Fox a few years ago. He's an extremely funny actor. He's also appeared in Freddy vs. Jason. He appeared in Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I am just astounded that his career. Oh, and a Christmas Story, by the way, which is the sequel.
Okay.
But I'm just astounded this guy just never had a bigger career than what he does. I mean, don't get me wrong. He works regularly, but I just wish he would have became like leading man material, because I honestly think he's funny. He's hilarious. He's in his 50s now, still working, still funny, still really good at what he does. And you see him as a kid here, and it's great.
Fantastic. He is brilliant. He's brilliant. He is terrifying. He is
terrifying. He
represents that bully that we've all had in our lives. He's just a great overall representation of all those bullies out there. Thought it was great. And his little henchman. What's his name? I can't remember.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember his name. They called him Toady. He was a toady. I think that's what they call him.
Yeah, he's great. This little kind of, tough little sidekick. I thought was a lot of fun as well. So really kind of cool. And then, the other thing I wanted to say about the classroom, I wanted to go back. To me, I went, the other reason I like this film is I like old Hollywood filmmaking. Because sometimes I love modern movies, right? Everyone loves modern movies. But I feel it's always the exception that we let scenes sit in a modern movie. It happens rarely. And there are times in this movie where the camera stays still. Like, there's a shot that I swear lasts 10 seconds in the classroom. And it's basically of all the things that she had collected from the classroom.
Oh, the chattering teeth.
Chattering teeth, the yo-yos and all that. And I thought, wow, that's unique. I actually had time to look in that drawer and identify all the things in there, which made the joke work even better. So what I'm saying is the filmmaking feels to me so on point. They've got the tone right here, the way they're putting it together. It's really, really great.
Yeah, it's almost like they knew everybody would want to look and see what was in her drawer.
We would.
Goodies. Yeah,
we would, and I'm glad we got to. Which was really kind of cool. But then we go back home after the incident with Vargas, that first incident where they all kind of, just run off basically, don't they? All scared of this kid. And that's our first introduction to him. There's all of these little subplots happening throughout this film too. And one of them is that his little brother, Ralphie's little brother, doesn't eat. Really hard to get that kid to eat.
My little brother would not eat, and he would whine the same way. I wanted to slap him. Because if I did that, I would get my butt whooped. But he was small and cute, and he could get away with it.
Yeah, that's kind of like, and my daughter was like that actually, like impossible to. But I'm going, man, I wish I'd seen this movie earlier because the mum had a nice little trick to get him to eat, although pretty disgusting. But got him to eat,
Yeah. Well, you got to do what you got to do.
That's good. I like today. And then another one, a great little subplot is the dad winning a competition. And like, I'm confused because he's overhyping it. At one point, he's doing that, I have $50,000. And then he comes in, I've won. And just his an immediate think of what if it's a boat or whatever, you know what I mean? Seeing these grand prizes. And I got to say, it's a pretty big package that comes into the house for that wonderful. I don't have the pick here. I'll put the pick in. This beautiful lamp.
Oh,
the lamp, Jason.
I want
his
one.
excitement over the lamp, though. His thing, this is a work of art, and it's tacky, and it's scarish.
I still want one. You can buy one. You can buy one at the Christmas Story house. Not that big, but you can get a leg lamp. I have an ornament on my tree that's a leg lamp.
It's not to me. It's the scene where I fell in love with the dad character.
Yeah, because
of his just joyous enthusiasm over it. It won me over 100%. And the fact he goes across the street, first blows out the electricity, but goes across the street, and the neighbors start looking around. It was great. I loved it.
He was proud of himself. He won. If I had won that thing, I'd never stop showing it off. And I still have not forgiven the mom. All these years later, I have not forgiven her because she did that on purpose. And it was jealousy.
At this point, too, Ralphie's got his second phase of his strategy is now underway. He's given an assignment. What does he want for Christmas? And somehow he's logically put it in his own head that if he makes this so good and he presses his teachers so much that he'll have to convince his parents that he deserves this weapon. Bizarre strategy, but his enthusiasm for it, I'm going with it.
Again, it's kids' logic. I did the same thing. We were given an assignment about what I wanted for Christmas, and I wrote about Snake Mountain. I wanted Snake Mountain so badly. So I wrote a thing about Snake Mountain, and I honestly thought that my teacher would go and take it to my mom and say, "Look how good this is. He wants Snake Mountain. Get him Snake Mountain or I'll fail
He
him."
deserves it.
That didn't happen, but I did get Snake Mountain, so I was very happy about that.
See, we don't have anything like that here in Australia because at that time of year, like from the beginning of December basically to February, the kids are on summer hiatus here. So they're not really interacting with school. They do, you know, when you're in primary school, you do make Christmas decorations, but you're making them late November, you know, and then in the classroom for a week and then you're on holidays. So it's a very different thing for us down here. What was I going to say? The tree purchasing scene. Again, like, I don't know what it is, but every scene in this brings a smile to my face. The fact that they go to this tree place and they haggle and all that kind of thing. It's just so wonderfully done. And the dad just like, McGavin's just being so proud of himself that he feels like he just secured a deal of a lifetime. Oh, mate, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, you know. And then that guy who was selling the trees, I've seen him in stuff before too.
I would have to look him up. I don't remember.
Oh, he definitely seen that guy in things before too. But really, wow, they get a flat on the way home.
One of the best scenes in the entire movie. We got to say it together. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, fudge. But I didn't say fudge. I said the big F dash 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 word.
And it was so great. And I actually thought the dad was going to let it go in the beginning of that. Because I'm like, oh, yeah. His dad's staring at him, but he's going, well, he's heard me a million times. But no, throws him under the bus to mum to get this great kind of moment. Have you ever had soap put in your mouth? Wash your mouth out with soap?
Once.
Yes, me too. I've had it.
And I told my mother under no uncertain terms, you are never putting soap in my mouth again. I don't care what I do. And that was a very brave thing for a 10-year-old to say.
Yeah. No, it was, I always feel like I'm gagging now thinking about it.
Yeah, just disgusting.
I do like the mum puts it in her mouth just to try it out at some point.
So the tree salesman was played by Leslie Carlson.
Yep.
And I'm looking through his filmography, which is impressive. There were appearances on MacGyver, on Friday the 13th, the series, on The Twilight Zone.
Wow.
I'm not seeing... Oh, he was in The Fly, the movie.
Oh, yes!
Yeah. And he was in The Dead Zone. He played Brenner.
Okay.
And I don't see anything else I recognize, but
it's definitely those what you've already picked out. I've seen him in them. So.
Yeah, he's got a gigantic filmography. He left us in 2014 at the age of 81.
Oh, we had a good innings. That's great.
Yes.
Big bucket of win for him. Again, when he's fantasizing and he's lying in bed, poor Ralphie, and he's so angry and upset about everything that's happened, including the soap in his mouth. The fantasizing that he's blind because of soap poisoning.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was hilarious. And him, you know, the reaction of the parents in his dream state, how they, like it.
I don't know if Ralphie's reaction is like smug satisfaction or if not Peter Billingsley. Oh my gosh, that was the kid from Willy Wonka. Right? No, that was Peter Billingsley.
Billingsley is this kid. Yeah.
I don't know if that was Peter Billingsley just being passively aggressive, smug as Ralphie, or if that was actually the actor breaking because Melinda Dillon and Darren McGavin were just being so funny.
Yeah.
Because if you watch his mouth, he's going.
Yeah. He's trying. Yeah, it is right at the end of it. He's enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
But man, Peter Billingsley, what a great performance this kid is giving.
He really did. He gave a great performance in this movie. And as you said, it's very honest. He's not a hero. He He doesn't have a selfless heart. He's
Yeah.
flawed, and he's at times he's mean, but at the same time, you root for the kid because you see something of yourself in him.
100%, 100%. I love the giving of the gifts to the teacher. And his little moment when he drops the basket and is kind of like, I'm feeling like he's kind of trying to bribe her. Well, that's exactly what it is. He's trying to bribe her, keep impressing her. He's on a mission. And I just love it.
I am a teacher of small humans.
Yeah, you
and
are.
In every classroom, you have that one weird kid. And I have the feeling Ralphie was the weird kid to that teacher.
Yeah.
Just standing there smiling, just standing at the desk, like just spaced out, and you're like, go sit down.
Yeah.
Go sit down.
Go sit down.
Go sit down. Security. Get this kid out of my classroom. Yeah, there's always a weird kid. And yeah, Ralphie was definitely the weird kid.
The decoder ring. Now, again, all these, it feels like there's 20 or 30 different things that happen in this movie, but they're all so pulled off, every one of them so well. It's a delight. And even though it is a Christmas movie, it's not just talking about Christmas. It's set around Christmas and in his life, which I love.
Out of all the scenes in this movie, the scene where he's in the restroom decoding the message is the one that I identify with the most, because we had one bathroom whenever I was a kid.
Okay.
And we had another bathroom, but it was a parent's bathroom. We never went in there. But we had one bathroom. And if I got up to go use the restroom, my brother would get up and run for the door. So I would go in there before he could, because he never had to go unless I had to go. So I would go in there, I'd lock the door, and he'd be sitting there doing that from the beginning. I gotta go. And within probably 30 seconds, my mom would be at the door. You open up that door and you let your brother in right now. He has to go to the bathroom. That whole bit, whenever Ralphie's in there,
he's home.
He just wants 2 minutes of privacy, and his little brother won't let him have it. And his mother's on his little brother's side. That is my childhood right there. It's like, let me poo in private. Let me poo in peace. I swear I'm going to be in here for an hour if you keep beating on that door. And I did. I was that petty. My brother would beat on the door. I'm like, okay, that's another 10 minutes. I'm not coming out. Oh, you're going to go call mom? That's another hour. I can do this all day. I got nothing to do. I have Sears catalog with the toy section. I can be in here all day.
I was coming at the scene more like, my thing from the scene was like, oh man, this kid is smart too, because he got it. He got the fact that he was being sold a false bill of goods. And it's that kind of, there's a moment in the end of that scene where he kind of grows up a little, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loses some of his boyhood right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All because of Little Orphan Annie and Ovaltine.
And Ovaltine, yeah.
I tried Ovaltine because of this movie. I tried it. It was awful. It was horrible.
It is horrible.
I can see why he didn't want to have anything to do with the Little Orphan Annie after that.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Daddy Warbucks would never have done a commercial like that. I'm just saying.
Never. Yeah, the moment. It's just so frustrating. He's defeated in this moment, really, isn't he? He's really defeated. However, we then cut to the next day when the teacher starts handing out all the homework.
I hated the teacher after this. I absolutely hated her.
Did you?
I hated her.
And he gets a C+, Jase. And it's not the C+ that devastates him more than you will shoot your eye out.
I want to freeze frame that and just see what he wrote, because I don't think it was C+ worthy. I do not believe that. I think that she's biased. Let me see. What I want for Christmas is a Red Ryder BB gun with a compass in the stock, and this kind
of there
would I think see, I don't think that's C+ material, and she has there's no red marks on there. She found nothing wrong with it. She just does not like BB guns. That's
Look
it.
at this. What's the other thing about that writing? It's in cursive. The kid's 9.
It is.
And look at the quality of writing of a 9-year-old in cursive.
She's a terrible teacher, and she should
If you
feel
find any 9-year-old today that can write as neat as that, and I would be shocked.
Yeah, not C+ worthy. That's at least at lowest that's a B+ because it's a little bit meandering. But no, not a C+. That teacher's horrible.
I want a day where you go to a con and express that exact same thing to the cast on stage.
Absolutely, I will tell.
I'm a teacher. Did not deserve a C+.
No, I will tell that to Peter Billingsley himself. I don't know if the actress who played the teacher is still with us. I kind of hope she is because she deserves to hear that. I'm sorry, she does. Let me see.
Well, she was a witch.
Yes, she was. And Harley Quinn is there too, apparently.
Yes, the mum. All making fun of him because of.
You'll shoot your eye out. You'll shoot your eye out. I don't see her in the credits here. She's got to be in here some. Oh, here we go. Teddy Moore, who played Miss Shields, is still with us.
Lovely.
I need to find her so I can tell her Ralphie did not deserve a C+.
Yep. Well, again, fun, and it's all falling over for him at this point. Ralphie is having a bad day, man. He's having a bad day. Things are not turning out as they should. To only get worse when he gets walking home because dun-dum, there he is again with his yellow eyes. There he is, Fergus, with the what is that? A raccoon hat?
It's a raccoon hat. It's a Davy Crockett hat.
David Crockett hat. But I tell you what, if you want to, there's a scene now with Peter Billingsley, our main kid, who does a real acting performance here because he takes himself from a point of fear and terror to a point of anger. And he does it all here, dude.
Yes.
In a tight frame. And it's just like, there are a lot of good actors today that couldn't pull this off.
A lot of adult actors who can't do that.
Exactly. But it's just, look at him at this moment. It's almost that trigger point of him almost snapping that we get to see. And I'm like, bravo. And he hauls us on him. He doesn't just beat this kid up. He wails on him. And he won't stop. It's a brutal beating.
It is. I just wanted to hear him say, in all of your years, I want you to remember who it was that beat you.
Yeah, it's
and of course, while he's doing it, he's unloading the Razen Fragen Fargen Bargen. Just that profanity.
Yeah.
That cartoonish profanity.
Yeah.
As his mom is running up.
And his mum is running up, and even everyone is like, "Oh, you're going too far with the language now. You're going too far." Oh, it was a great scene. Oh, not only is it a great scene, but it leads to a very emotionally powerful scene for me as we go on. And the fact that it gets really emotional when we see the poor lad breaking down in the moment. It's just falling apart for him. And, you hate to see it, but I've been there. We've all been there as a boy. You just totally lose it like that.
Well, you're pushed too far. Cat's got my headphones. Hold on. Okay. You're pushed too far. You're emotionally done, and it's like a surge of adrenaline. Your brain shuts off. You see red. It's happened to me a couple of times, and I'm a very passive, peaceful person, but I have whooped the crap out of a couple of people. Just because they caught me on the wrong day. Exactly. And afterwards, I bawled my eyes out. And I wasn't even hurt. I was just it was just like I was emotionally drained and I had nothing else to do. So
we've all been there, my friend. Absolutely.
Adam and Billy, I'm sorry. But you
and then obviously his mum goes, "All right, you're gonna go to your room because Dad's coming." The beautiful little touch this movie does is not just address that, and we get this moment where we've got him laying on the bed crying, but then we see it from his little brother's perspective.
Daddy's gonna kill Ralphie!
Wow. And that kind of really got to me because I'm like, wow, I've done that. I've got older brothers and sisters I've hidden in a cupboard, worried what was going to happen to one of my siblings. So that whole scene too, I thought, I just don't see this stuff in movies, Jason. You just don't see this kind of thing. It's just the little touches. And then this moment of mother, son, I mean, she basically covers his backside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
this is the scene where I fell in love with the mom character.
Oh yeah.
Because
and
my mom did that for me. She kept things secret so my dad wouldn't murder me. And
same here with my mum.
Yeah.
And it's just this moment right now where she puts her hand on his shoulder and it occurs to him, he says in narration, I now know that I'm not going to be in trouble for this. And they were tight because of it.
Yeah, you just see that bond between them grow. And that's another thing I enjoy about this movie is that these characters do grow. Not all of them. I don't really think the dad grows that much. I don't really think that the little brother grows that much, but definitely the mom and Ralphie do. And I just love that for them.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just beautifully sweet. And, I just love the dad, though. Darren McGavin, I just think he's just love the interaction with the hounds and stuff.
Oh, my God.
Come and get your hounds. Was it Berkowitz or something?
Yeah.
Come and get your bloody which pays off wonderfully at the end of this.
It does. I lived in a town where people would let their dogs run loose, and every now and again, one of them would get into the house and run around looking for food, and we'd be chasing it out. So, like I said, there's something in this movie there's something in this movie that speaks to everybody. I really hope that Ralphie's family sued the heck out of the dog owners because they wrecked that kitchen.
Oh, when we get to that, for sure. I've never seen Santa as such an epic mall fit out like that.
I know. Where was this whenever I was a kid? I wanted to go down that slide so bad. I don't see why those kids were screaming.
I wanted to go down it yesterday.
Yeah, I would just be like, I don't want to see Santa. I just want the slide.
Yeah. Again, could have been an innocent visual prop, but becomes integral to the scene. And it comes a good payoff to the scene.
And where else are you going to see the Wizard of Oz characters hanging out with Mickey Mouse?
Where else?
Yeah, I mean,
did you like the parade? Did you like? I thought the parade again. Production value in this is great. You know what I mean? There's so many extras, so many old cars. There's big floats that were made.
That was great. Ralphie was a pain. Ralphie was a pain in the butt during the parade, but like we said, he's an imperfect kid.
And he's desperate at this point, Jace, because
he is.
He doesn't have that many options to get this rifle. Doesn't have that many options left. Love the weird kid. We've all come across as a weird kid when you were a kid. Like, just love that he's wearing a pilot's kind of setup and just says the most oddest, strangest thing.
I like the Wizard of Oz. I like Santa. I like turtles.
And then when he eventually gets up to Santa, he just screams his head off.
That kid was hilarious. I don't know who he was, but he was so funny.
It was so funny at the top of this because eventually we get to see that every kid literally gets picked up and thrown down that slide. It isn't a moment of joy. It's just a moment to dispose of the kids as quickly as possible.
David Savoba.
Okay.
He's known for not a whole lot of stuff, but he is still getting work every now and again. Most recently, he was in episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Oh, wow.
But he has not worked since 2015, so I hope whatever he's doing, he's happy.
Absolutely.
Because he was hilarious
in this scene.
Yes.
Yeah, he was funny.
But he brought so much joy to us.
And even the little brother crying all the way down was great. But it's the whole Ralphie bit when Ralphie finally gets up there. And he struggles, Jace, to get out what he wants to Santa. He's kind of blowing it. But like clinging from the edge of a building, he's clinging on the edge of that slide and has that moment. And I don't know if I've got the image here, but it's kind of like the still that they use of Ralphie. It's this pure moment of hope and innocence he's got in his face as he's kind of expressing what he wants. But really, what I laughed at is he basically gets kicked in the face by Santa.
Oh my gosh. This was the scene that I laughed at so much as a kid. Just when Santa tells him, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid," and then he just taps him with his foot and sends him down the slide. I laughed so hard I hurt because I
I
thought
was
that was the
laughing,
funniest thing in the world.
but they amp up the laughter, Jace, because we cut back and see them like this, and I am losing it myself at this point. Just the fact they are both defeated.
Yes.
It's over. Ralphie's done. It's not going to happen, you know? Again, wonderful. You know, it's almost like, I don't know if this movie has a traditional structure. I just don't think it has. It feels like these are vignettes that have been carefully woven together. That's how it kind of feels. Because the next thing now, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say the film has a structure, but it's all structured around Ralphie's quest to get his Red Ryder BB gun. And every single scene is him trying to do that, or at least having that in the background while Slice of Life is happening. I love the structure of this movie because it is very loose and it's very loose and it's very informal.
Yeah.
And it's how families are because just
100%
things happen. Yeah.
I think what I probably should have really articulated that was every scene seems to have a beginning, middle, and end. You know what I mean? Everything seems to be so well structured that nothing is being left on the table. Everything's kind of complete in its sense. In fact, you could almost cut that scene out, a story about a boy and his little brother going to see Santa. That's almost a whole little short film right then and there, complete.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's magic.
Well, there was actually a whole scene where Ralphie fantasizes about being Flash Gordon. And he has to go up against Ming the Merciless. They shot the entire scene and then dropped it from the movie. So somewhere out there's a Flash Gordon scene starring
Not on
Ralphie.
a Blu-ray somewhere? Or
I don't know.
DVD edition? Wow, I've got to see if we can hunt that down. But we get really into the third act of the movie, which is really wonderful, and it's really all centered around Christmas Day. It's all about the one day now. From this point, and it's great, you know, the trees. Before that nice little, and I felt like the dad in that scene when he's trying to get the star right. I don't know about you, Jace. How many times have you been on top of the bloody tree trying to get it perfectly upright, and it's just bending over and bending backwards?
We always had artificial trees that had the pole, so we never had that problem.
We actually had mostly art. We've had classic trees a couple of times, but it's the same thing with the plastic trees. They never bloody stand up 100%. All right, now it is a beautiful kind of moment, and you know everyone wakes up, and you get that beautiful shot when it's early in the morning, Christmas Day, and we see Ralphie wake up, and he looks outside, and again a long shot. Most movies would go, okay, we get it, cut, move on to the next scene. He just lingers on these trees, just covered in ice.
Yes.
Now, I know he uses that for something later on in the movie, but wow, I reckon it was a good 20 seconds just looking at this ice on the tree, and it was gorgeous. It was beautiful.
Well, you know, as I said, there's so much in this movie that speaks to experiences from childhood. I remember waking up on Christmas Day and it taking a few seconds for me to remember, oh, it's Christmas Day. There's presents waiting downstairs. You always have that 20 or 30 seconds before you're lucid where you're just looking around your room and you know something's up, but you just can't put your finger on it. And that's such a universal experience.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But, you know, they figure it out and they go running down and they get that wonderful moment we all get when we're kids of seeing what's under the tree, looking for your presents, allowing to open them. It's a wonderful family moment. And at this point, I would say he's accepted the fact he's not going to get the rifle. He's not expecting it Christmas morning at all. And so I think he's just trying to salvage something out of it. But what he gets from his auntie is amazing. I was not seeing this coming. I had no idea about this. There's not even a visual in my mind about this. But I feel like it's an iconic moment. This, Jason.
You can buy that at the Christmas store.
That is crazy. Why most people don't own one of them, I'd be shocked.
It wasn't
The
in my
adult
size.
ones? Oh, they don't do adult ones. Boo.
They
Get
do
adult
do
ones.
adult. They do adult ones, but not in this particular majesty, I should say.
Yeah. Be my problem too.
I walked up to the
Okay.
counter. I said, I want a bunny suit. Where's my size?" And they said, "Well, sir, we didn't know they made you."
Well, you know. Okay, I kind of flicked it up on screen. We'll let that keep it.
Spoiler
there it
alert.
is.
This was the scene
Spoiler
where
alert.
this was the scene where I fell in love with the father.
Yeah, because he's I had one when I was a kid. Absolutely, he gets it that was important to the lad.
My favorite part is whenever he's telling Ralphie, do you know how to load the gun? And as Ralphie is loading the gun, you can see him like motioning in the background because he wants him to get it right. And he's so excited that his son got that. And that means one thing. That means the dad was listening the whole time.
He's a really good father.
Yeah, the dad was listening. The dad cared about his son's happiness to the point that he went over the mom's shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, and all the chaos dangerous. In a way that the dad brings to scenarios, because he can be very chaotic. Yeah. Well, the whole time he knew exactly what was going on. It was wonderful. And you could have ended the film there, Jason. End the film there. Done. Right? It's over. Kid's got his gun. No, they do something highly unusual from my perspective, and I love. We get to see him play it out. So he's out in the backyard and he's ready to fire it off. And what happens? He almost shoots his eye out. And I'm like, oh wow, they did that. That is so good. That is so good. I mean, it was all set up there, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to get his moment. And then you're thinking, all right, he got knocked out with it like that. That's what's broken his glasses. But no, it's even more tragic. The way his glasses get smashed is because he steps on them.
Yeah, because they actually the bullet never hit his glasses. If you look, he's got the mark on his cheek.
It was the butt of the gun that hit his cheek. That was it.
Yeah.
But he's got it smashed. But he's panicking at this point because he's thinking, if they think it was because of the gun, they're taking it from me.
Yeah.
So again, he uses
a universal thing, because who has done something that they were told not to do, got hurt, and then lied about it?
Plenty of times.
So many times.
Yeah. And the fact that he gets desperate about it and comes up with a lie, a pretty good one actually. And he references what he first woke up and saw with the eyes coming down.
Yeah.
It's a legit excuse. He's a smart kid when it comes to telling lies.
Yeah, well, we're all stage actors. Whenever we tell lies, we just roll with it.
That's it. But the mum's being great and wonderful and supportive and sweet. And the dad who if you didn't love before then, you got to at least understand what this is like. And
he's going to get
I've kind of been guilty of that a couple of times.
Oh yeah, me too.
And but man, what I didn't see coming, I didn't see. Oh, it's not there. I haven't got the image. The hounds. I did not expect that scene to come in, and it must have been a real turkey, because you see how the dogs just shredded that thing and ran off.
I really hope Ralphie's family sued. That's all I can say. I hope they sued the dog owners for everything they had.
It was very cool. It was very cool.
It was.
Which then throws an extra dimension in for Christmas, which is something that is very common here in Australia as well, that sometimes, whatever the circumstances, you may find yourself at an Asian restaurant or an Indian restaurant for Christmas dinner, because they celebrate their traditions differently.
China flag in Fort Worth was our go-to on Christmas Day. We love China flag.
Well, there you go. And they go to it, and it's a beautifully, wonderfully sweet scene with that dark. And the hotel, the restaurant employees trying to sing Christmas carols. Look, I'm sure that may be considered a little bit offensive, and they could, but I saw this humour in it, and I thought it was wonderfully sweet. And the fact that the restaurant owner could see it as well,
Mhm.
And even though he's Asian, it's like, no, you guys, you're not even doing it right. So, but it was good. It was funny. The duck with the head.
Melinda Dillon, her reaction to everything in this scene, I can only assume that this was done in one take and she didn't know what was going to happen.
Look at her.
Because
Look at
yeah,
her.
she was like laughing and screaming and just
Yeah.
her acting is so genuine here.
Mm.
I would love to hear this. I need to get the Blu-ray so I can hear the behind the scenes.
How did
stories
she
behind
not
that.
become a mass actress after this? This is what I want to know.
I don't know.
How did she not become like big?
I mean,
I
she
don't know.
had a lot of roles.
Yeah.
She worked pretty much regularly. It looks like until about 2006,
Yeah.
and then she kind of retired. But she did. She was asked to come back for Christmas Story Christmas and declined. So they had to
Oh.
recast the role of the mom.
Yeah, okay. But wow, the way this film ends, this is like I said, I think I put in the message and may even quote the message. You know what? Let's just kind of quote what I
And,
wrote to you.
Actually, it could have been health reasons, come to think of it, because it says here she actually passed away January 9th, 2023.
Oh, I'm sad to hear
So
that.
yeah, me too. I did not know that.
No. Yeah, like, you know what? Let's get to the end of this film. A couple of beautiful moments. The parents sitting there looking outside, putting their arm around each other, having a little nightcap. To the closing scene.
Yes.
Seeing, you know, his little brother with his Zeppelin and Ralph holding on to that gift. It was a perfect time. I was wrong before. That was the perfect time to end the movie.
Yeah.
A complete story. It was beautifully done. I'm going to read to you now the message I sent you for the audience about after, and I said, and I wrote, okay, well, I watched A Christmas Story and you went, hope it's a good experience. And I wrote, I'm sitting here reflecting on it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I need more time to think, but I feel like I've seen something quite extraordinary. It's Norman Rockwell meets classic cinema, full of heart and truth. I'm maybe just caught up in the moment, but yeah, I was kind of shocked in how good it was. And I'm only going to double down on that. It was extraordinary. The more I've separated from this, I'm going, no, I should have known this film. I feel like I've come across The Sound of Music or The Great Escape or maybe not Star Wars, but, you know, a piece of cinema I should have seen, and now I'm just catching up, and I feel like shouting it to the world, and everyone's like, yeah, man, I saw that like 30 years ago. What's your deal? It was great. It was wonderful. It's now, it sits in one of my favorite Christmas films I've ever seen.
Yes.
Without question.
It is a classic, a bona fide, undeniable classic movie. Not only Christmas movie, but I think just movie. I mean, it's to me just feels important to the culture of the country that I live in, and as
it is very culturally important.
Yeah,
and it's a romantic film in many ways because it's a romance about America at that time. You know, it was a wonderful time to be an American.
Yes,
then.
And you actually asked me at one point, you said that, oh, there's a sequel. Yes. Should I watch the sequels? Well, I'm going to let you know. A Christmas Story 2. No, do not watch it. It is garbage.
Okay.
A Christmas Story Christmas. Watch it. It's wonderful. It's not as good as this one, but it is just this wonderful tribute to the first movie. And then
when did they make number 2?
That A Christmas Story Christmas came out in 2022, I believe.
Yep.
Christmas Story 2, I don't know when it came out, but it was just hot garbage. It was during that
time.
Have
anything to do with the same characters?
Yeah, it's the same characters. It's a direct sequel, but it's just, I watched it, I think I watched half of it, and it's just hot garbage. There is actually a lesser known sequel that was released on the Disney Channel back in 1988. And it stars Jerry O'Connell as Ralphie as a teenager. And it's called Ollie Hop Noodle's Haven of Bliss. It was almost called A Summer Story. But it's the family taking a road trip to a cabin to go camping at. And the misadventures that happens between their home and where they end up. I remember really enjoying it. I haven't seen it in a long time. Maybe I'm wearing rose-colored glasses, but I thought it was a great movie. Not as good as A Christmas Story, but it was still fun.
There's a series of books this is based on, so there's many stories about that Jean, whatever his name was. I had it up here before, Jean Shepherd. I'm assuming there's a few books he wrote about his childhood. Would have loved to see more of that family. I just want to hang out with the family. Yeah, what is it like at summertime with that family? What's going on at Easter? What's going on July 4th? What's going on? I would love to have followed this family around just because they were so good. But I tell you what, I don't think you can ever replicate this again. I don't think you could remake it and make it as good. I think it's timeless.
It would be difficult. And the stories that became the book that this movie was based on actually were published in a magazine before they were published in a book. I'll let you guess which magazine they were published in. Playboy. Playboy magazine.
Hey, you can say what you want about Playboy, but that old joke of I just buy it for the articles, they always had great articles. They had real journalists doing stories in that magazine back then.
Yeah, I mean, I fully believe anybody who says I pick up Playboy for the articles. I believe you. You did it for the articles and for the nudity.
For the nudity. The fact that the articles are so good is a bonus. No, that's great. And it's, like I said, it just, the way he's written it, the way he does his narration, Jean Shepherd, it's just taken on this journey. And you're kind of swept up and you feel really safe on this journey. And it's just so nice to see movies like this. I'm getting cynical as I'm watching new content come in these days. I'm far more judgy on something new. And then I go and see this from 30 years ago and go, this is really like triggering all my member berries, even though I haven't seen it. It just reminds me of a time and a style of movies that I just absolutely adored. So thank you for making me watch this. This was an excellent recommendation.
Oh, you're very welcome. And hopefully I can force you to watch something else good in the future.
Well, talking of the future, we go from Christmas. Damn it. Christmas will be over. And we've got to go and take another visit to Elm Street.
Yes.
Yes, we'll be moving on to I was going to say the Final Nightmare. It's not the Final Nightmare.
No, it's the New Nightmare.
It's the New Nightmare.
Freddy's dead, at least until the next movie.
He is dead to the next movie. This one is going to be what my memories of it, Jase. It's a very, at times, esoteric, strange, macabre, frightening movie. My memories, and I haven't seen it in about 25 years. I can say that honestly. So I'm looking forward to going back and revisiting that. But you're not going to be able to contain my excitement the week after. I will say that, because that'll lead directly to the film we've been building up for a while. Now, I have stopped myself several times of rewatching it, and that is Freddy vs. Jason.
I rewatched it already, and you know what? You can't stop me. I do what I want.
There you go.
Ain't no man telling me what I can do. I'm a strong, independent woman who don't need no man.
Nope, absolutely. Now, moving on to 24, it's open slather time, guys. We are going to be having some surprises of what we plan on doing for our franchise. We certainly want you guys involved, so you guys sending your recommendations to us. It's really important. It then becomes part of the pile, which is chosen by the three wise souls, which is Jason's cats, basically. And there's going to be a lot of fun coming up. I can't wait for 2024 and all the good stuff that we'll be watching. It's going to be a hoot. So please subscribe, like, do all that kind of great stuff that helps these little channels like us, keeps us going. So it's super, super important. So please do that for us. It's been a great 2023. A new home, Jason. We're here in a new home. It's been a great few months. Can't wait to knock it out of the park next year. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great holiday season from me. And Jace, you have anything more to add? Otherwise, we're getting out of here.
God bless us, everyone.
All right. All right, there we go. That was it. Ralphie rocks. Beat the
Indeed.
shit out of Ferguson.
Oh my gosh, Fergus
So
deserved the
good.
worst.
So good.
I wish Ralphie had shot Fergus with that BB gun. It would have been amazing. Take Fergus's eye out.
Yes, take his eye out.
Eye
Love
for an
it.
eye. And then all the other kids just pile on top of him and start beating him. Just like the lost ending to It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay,
Where
we're doing a
all of the-
remake shot for shot, except he gets shot out the eye.
Yeah.
We show it in slow motion.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah.
like they did with Superman Returns when they shoot Superman with the bullet in the eye.